Economics. I welcome you all. So today we'll be starting the first chapter from part A, okay, which is Introductory Microeconomics. Okay, so in part A we have microeconomics and in part B we have macroeconomics. Okay, so we'll be starting the first chapter which is based on microeconomics. So before learning this concept, we will first try to learn the concept of economics. Okay, so as you can see over here, economics is derived from the two Greek words, which is oikos and nomos. Okay, as I have written over here, oikos means household and nomos means management. Okay, so this concept of economics has been developed from the household management. That means in the past or even today, in a family, the head of the family generally manages the unlimited wants of the family within his limited income. So similarly, this concept can also be applied in a country, and the government of every country tries to manage the unlimited wants of the public by using the income earned by them. So that's why the concept of economics has now been applied in every economy. So now the concept of economics has also been mentioned in Kautilya's book, which is Arthashastra. Okay, so in this Arthashastra, it contains all the rules and regulations relating to governing of a kingdom by a king. So it contains the rules relating to collection of taxes and how a soldiers will be compensated, how the king will be using those taxes, the income derived from taxes for the welfare of the people and to keep the subjects happy. Okay, so these rules, even though it was meant only for governing a kingdom, but the same rules can also be applied by the government of various countries at present for governing the country as well. Okay, so before we go into the details of everything, let's understand the concept of economics. As I have written over here, economics is a subject in which economic activities of people both at individual level and at the level of society as a whole, okay, so that means are studied. Okay, so now this means that economics is a subject dealing with economic activity. Now as I've mentioned over here, economic activity means which involves production, distribution and exchange of goods. Exchange of goods, or we can also say consumption. Okay, so production means productions of goods and services. Now when a particular person produces goods and services, they produce for the purpose of selling the goods to earn money. Okay, so any activity which is carried out for the purpose of exchange, that means for earning money or paying money, that is called economic activity. Okay, next we have distribution. So distribution means when the goods and services are produced, they have to be distributed to various areas, various regions for sale. So that activity is called distribution. And also while distributing, obviously it has to be paid. Okay, the particular state or region which purchases, they have to make payment for those goods and services. So this also involves economic activity. Next we have exchange of goods, or as I mentioned, consumption of goods. So exchange of goods means here the goods finally reach the consumer. Okay, that means us. We are consumers, and when it reaches us, that means in the various shops, in the retail shops, we can go over there and pay the money and get the goods. Okay, that is called exchange. Okay, so that is how the economic activities are carried out. So economics is the study of all those economic activity which involves production, distribution and exchange of resources. Now here it says of people both at individual level. Individual level means individually when I am working in a particular organization or institution, I will be benefiting myself financially or economically. I will be benefiting my family with my income. So this is how I am affecting myself and my family members with my income. Next is at the level of the society. That means when I am working in a particular organization, in trying to earn my own income, I am also contributing towards the society, towards that organization. I am influencing the life of many people through my work. Okay, so that is how I am involved in the society as well. Okay, so economic activities takes place at an individual level for one's own personal benefit, and at the level of the society for the benefits or the welfare of the society as a whole. Okay, so that is all we are going to study in economics. Okay, so here we can see the wealth definition given over here. Now different economists have tried to express the concept of economics in their own words. Okay, so first of all we will learn about the wealth definition given by Adam Smith. Okay, so now Adam Smith in his book An Enquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations, which was written in 1776, he mentioned, okay, you can see the definition over here, economics is the science of wealth. Okay, so that means Adam Smith mostly talk about the purpose of wealth getting and wealth using activities of the people, which means that every person, every individual in the society, in a country, works to benefit themselves first, okay, and then at the same time contributes towards the society. Okay, they work to benefit themselves. So everyone, every country is concerned about the process or the ways through which wealth can be earned. So that is called wealth getting. Okay, the government is concerned about what are the new products they can release in the market so that they can earn for the country. What are the various natural resources which are lying unexplored through which they can earn more money. Okay, so various countries of the world are always trying to find out ways so that they can get more and more wealth. Okay, and wealth using activities means after those income are earned, how are we using it? Okay, at the individual level, when I earn my income, how am I using it? Am I just spending it all on consumption, or am I keeping it some for saving or maybe some investment in businesses? Okay, so what am I doing with my wealth? Okay, so here we'll be talking about the use of wealth in the best possible manner. Okay, similarly, the government will also be thinking about how to make use of that earned income in the various welfare activities of the people. Okay, so here according to the concept given by Adam Smith, which is the wealth definition, he talks about that every countries of the world are concerned about increasing wealth. That means they are trying to find ways and means to increase the wealth of the country so that income of the country can be increased, which will be ultimately improving the standard of living of the people in that country. Next, we will be learning about the definition of welfare given by Alfred Marshall. Okay, and he wrote about this definition in his book Principles of Economics in 1890. So according to him, economics is a study of man in the ordinary business of life. Okay, so here he says that economics means studying men and what man is doing. That means what are the economic activities in which he or she is involved. Okay, so Alfred Marshall, he also tries to take the points which is written by Adam Smith about wealth getting and wealth using activities of men. Apart from that, he mentioned an extra concept in his definition by mentioning about material welfare, which will be leading to human welfare. Okay, so now material welfare means every one of us work in order to provide ourselves with all the comforts in our life. Okay, and we wanted to gather more and more luxurious items for ourselves, and that is called material welfare, which is very much related to an individual. At the same time, why does the government want to earn? Because it wanted to gather more and more resources for the public. Okay, so that public can be benefited abundantly. So now this activities which is done at the individual level to gather more and more wealth will ultimately lead to human welfare. Now how these are connected, you see, when I work in a particular institution, I work to earn my own personal income, but at the same time when I am doing that work, I am benefiting the particular institution or organization with my work. At the same time, the various people which are connected with that, with obtaining that service, they are also benefited from that service. So by doing that, I am also creating human welfare. So now he explained this concept under three aspects. Let's see this. Number A, economics is a study of man and his ordinary business of life. This is one of the aspects which I have already explained over here in the definition. Number B, it examines the economic aspect of an individual and his social actions. Now, economic aspect of an individual means what a person is doing. What are the occupations in which he is involved? Okay, a person can be a teacher, a businessman, an accountant, okay, a doctor, an engineer. So whatever work a person does, it will obviously be affecting the social actions. That means when you earn more, you have the capacity to contribute more towards the society. Okay, so if I'm a cobbler, I may be affecting a fewer sections of the society, but not much. And I may not be able to contribute financially in the society much. Okay, but if I'm a doctor or an engineer, I will contribute more as per my financial capacity. The third point, the attainment of material welfare is the end of economics. That means everybody works in order to earn their living, and it's not only earning a living but also to fill our life with all the comforts and luxuries around us. Okay, so which means that every one of us work in order to increase the material welfare for ourselves, which will ultimately lead to human welfare and contributes towards the society as a whole. Next, we go to the scarcity concept, which was given by Professor Lionel Robbins in his book An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science, which was published in the year 1932. Professor Lionel Robbins, he gave the definition of economics in scarcity definition. So let us see this definition over here. Economics is a science which studies human behavior as a relationship between ends or wants and scarce means resources which have alternative uses. So here it's talking about studying of men and their behavior. Now behavior of man here, it's talking about the occupation or the means of earning that he is involved. Okay, so out of that limited income, which is mentioned over here, scarce means, that means out of the limited income that a person earns, he will try to fulfill the ends. That means whatever wants or unlimited wants of his family that he has, he will try to fulfill. It's similar like in a family, a father tries to manage his income in order to fulfill the requirements of the family in obtaining rice or maybe paying the school fees, tuition fees, traveling expenses, medical expenses. Okay, so all these are the various alternatives, okay, which is mentioned over here, in which the father has to spend within the limited income of the family. At the same time, try to satisfy the needs. So now, Lionel Robbins, he mentioned that every one of us, okay, are faced with this problem, which is called the economic problem, and it arises because of three reasons. Let us see the first one. Human wants are unlimited. Okay, so it says that when one wants or needs are fulfilled, we tend to develop the next one. Like for example, if I wanted to get the latest mobile, okay, if I want to buy one latest mobile at this point of time, a costly one, now once I buy that, I will again tend to develop another desire to buy the next latest model which comes up in the market. So my needs will keep on growing on and on. So human wants are always said to be unlimited. It is not fixed. It keeps on increasing on and on. Next is resources are scarce. Now income are always considered to be limited in comparison to the unlimited ones that we have. Okay, like suppose in a family, if a particular child, okay, is given a choice of writing down all the list of things that he require, okay, you will find that the lists are so huge and the income of the father is very less in comparison to those needs. Okay, so that's why income is always considered to be scarce or inadequate in comparison to the unlimited ones that human has. Next, resources have alternative uses. That means if I talk about money as a resource, money can be put to various uses. I can use it for saving in the bank, I can use it for investment in stocks or shares, I can use it for paying the school fees of my child, okay, I can use it for traveling purposes, medical purposes, okay. So all these are the various uses in which the resources, that is money, can be put. So all resources likewise have various ways in which they can be used. So for a person, he has to decide which are the best uses. That means which are the things which he has to be fulfilling at that point of time and which is of utmost importance. So now we will go to the growth definition, which is given by Paul A. Samuelson. So now he, as an economist, he tried to put in all the points which has been explained by Adam Smith, which has been explained by Alfred Marshall, and that by Professor Lionel Robbins. He tried to put in all the good points. Apart from that, he tried to, we can say, modify or enhance the definition of economics. So let's see this. According to him, the definition goes: economics is the study of how man and society choose. Okay, so this part here it talks about how man as an individual, what are the occupation that he wanted to be involved in, what are the various ways in which he wants to earn money, or what are the resources that he like to exploit, whether he wants to produce goods or whether he wants to produce services. It completely depends on man and the choice made by the society. Here it says with or without the use of money. So here it talks about the concept of scarcity. So scarcity arises, either it might be scarcity of money in a family or scarcity of money in a country, or scarcity is not only based on money itself. It may be, let's say, the scarcity of a raw cotton in a factory. Okay, so scarcity may be any other type of raw materials or resources, okay, apart from money. So that's why here it says with or without money, scarcity may arise. To employ scarce productive resources which could have alternative uses. So now everyone is faced with a problem of managing their limited income within the various uses that one has to put it, okay, in order to spend, in order to satisfy their needs or their wants. To produce various commodities over time and distribute them for consumption now and for the future among various people and groups of society. Now this part of the definition, this is the additional part, okay, which he has put up. Now this extra part here, it says that production of these goods and services should be continuing at present. At the same time, he also says that this process of production of goods and services should continue for future as well. That means the policies of the government or the means of earning of the people must be arranged in such a way that the process of production should continue at present and fulfill the requirements of the people at present. At the same time, the coming future generation should also be satisfied with the same productions of goods and services which the people at present are now enjoying. By mentioning this, he talks about the concept of growth and he enhances all the definitions which has been given by other economists.
Stay home, stay safe,
Do it for self.
do it for your family, do it for India.
Let's break the chain of COVID-19.
हम होंगे कामयाब, जय हिंद। हम होंगे कामयाब, जय हिंद।
हम होंगे कामयाब। जय हिंद।